All right, ladies and gentlemen, back here, Woman Strong to Experience Show with our second guest today. She is a mom, she is an author, she is the founder of I Am She. He Empowered Be Incorporated. She is a leader, a game changer. Let's welcome Miss Nikita McKenzie. How are you today?
Good afternoon. How are you? Thank you so much for having me today.
I'm doing good. Yes, I'm doing wonderful. So, before we get right to how was your week? How's it been New Year so far?
So this is consecration month for me. I've been in this season of consecration. So this month has been wonderful spiritually. It's had its challenges, obviously. So what I will say is this, I know my consecration is working. I'll say that. So this has been a very life-changing week. I will say that.
Wonderful. That's good to hear. So let's get right into it. I know she's also was part of August Cafe 42 in November, the last one we had in November. I won't get her thoughts about that. What that experience like for her and her family that came to support her that day. So on my first question I asked you was, who was Nikita growing up?
So growing up, Nikita was a very insecure young lady, a little girl. Who felt that she was not enough. I experienced teenage motherhood. I became a mother at the age of 15, and a lot of what I experienced at that time was due to what I felt about me. It wasn't that I didn't have family or I didn't have support, but it was about not having the self-love that I needed. And although we have support sometimes, we don't always have support in the way in which we need. Whether we don't know how to express what we need, or people don't really see us where we are. Whatever that was, I was a young lady who was not secure in who I was. I wasn't confident in my own skin. I needed to be a part of something, and I think becoming a teenage mom, so I thought, was one of those things that would help fill some of what I was missing within myself.
Wonderful. So what made you get out of that place as you got older? So what made you get out of that? What things you were exposed to that helped you get out of that space?
So my daughter saved my life. My daughter saved my life. It was me being her mother and wanting to provide her with something that I did not have. Wanting her to have a life that I envisioned. Building and working on myself constantly. I constantly put myself in a place where I could develop and evolve. I was blessed to, when she was about 3 years old, land a job at Independence Blue Cross.
Okay.
And I worked there for 21 years. It was an avenue that God used to place people in my life that exposed me to things that I had not been exposed to growing up. It gave me opportunity to develop. It gave me opportunity to understand relationships on another level. It put people in my life that were above me, who taught me things and showed me things and made me desire things. It positioned me to excel. And so it was really about me wanting to provide her with a life and set an expectation for her that she can do and have and become. And it was important for me. It was important for me to work on me so that the person that I was for her was present. And I do believe that you can't demand something from someone that you don't or not yourself, right?
Right.
And so it took a lot of self-work. It took a lot of prayer. Church is my foundation. God is my foundation. And he's always been a constant in my life too. And so it's not a surprise to me that he placed me in these places. He had me on his mind even when I didn't even know.
Right.
He had me on his mind. So I think it was really having my daughter that kind of changed how I saw things.
So you said you had your daughter and you worked with Independence Blue Cross for 21 years. What made you leave?
I am she.
So
what I will say
is,
yes. So what happened was there was an opportunity. I was finishing up my master's at the time. I was going into my 21st year, and there was an opportunity for voluntary separation with the organization. And my plan was always to separate because she was a resource that God allowed me to have. I put my daughter through college working there. I bought my first house working at Blue Cross. I went to college working at Blue Cross, and it was not my passion.
Okay.
Okay? So I never planned to stay.
Okay.
I was supposed to finish my master's degree. I left in 2018. I was slated to finish my master's. When I left Blue Cross in 2018, I had 2 classes left. And technically, when you go to school through the organization, you have to stay for a certain amount of time after they've given you their benefit.
Right. Okay.
When the severance opportunity came up, it removed that bondage that I had, and I applied for it. I was in a time of consecration at the time when this happened. I was in a season of consecration, and I remember praying and asking God, "What do I do?" And I put my application in because you had to volunteer. The department I was working in at the time, they had a cap, they had a limit on how many people they would allow, and if more people applied than allowed, they would go by seniority. They allowed 5 people. I was number 7 in terms of seniority, and 2 of the people decided that they did not, say they could not take it because of what their life circumstances were at the time and the door. And I just walked through the door.
Right through it. So
yes.
Okay, so IMC came up for you, and can you tell the audience what is IMC?
So IMC is a nonprofit organization, and I'm going to give you, and I opened up my phone because IMC is going through what I'm calling a transition. And so this year we're going to show up a little differently, and we're making some changes to what IMC has always been in terms of how we show up. IMC is still the same. It's a nonprofit organization that was established to support women who are going through life transitions, major life transitions, and most of which I have experienced personally. Now, I obviously have not experienced every transition known to man, but I have had my challenges throughout the years, my things that I've gone through. And so I'm committed to giving back, using my story, using my life to help empower women. And so our new mission, so I'm working on now.
Okay, so like you said,
yes, that's why I said I wanted to share it with you. Our mission has always been to encourage and to inspire. But because we're showing up different this year, we've made sure that we've really fine-tuned how we say we're going to show up, who it is that we're going to service, and how we're going to service them. So our new mission statement, when it goes live, will read, to encourage and inspire African American women to discover their inner strength, to successfully navigate life with confidence by offering programs, services, and resources that will provide socio-economic empowerment. And so this is what our goal is, and this is how we plan on showing up going forward. But we've always been established to support women going through transition.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay. That's so you started IMC, or were you a part of the organization, or you started it?
I am the founder of IMC. It started in 2018. I left Independence Blue Cross in April.
Years.
And in May, I was filling out the paperwork to establish IMC.
Wow. What have been the highlights of IMC? Because I know it's been past 5 years now. What's been the highlights of the day?
So one of the biggest highlights of IMC is we do quarterly empowerment events. And so we have been able to, and I call it ministry, although it's a nonprofit organization, it's ministry to me, because God gave it to me as a way of me giving back and me using my testimony in my life. And so we've had the ability, or the opportunity, I should say, to be able to speak to so many women. We are committed to helping one woman at a time, as many women as we can, one woman at a time. So when we host events and we're able to empower them, whether it's about financial freedom, whether it's about their confidence, their identity, or their self-esteem, about them just discovering who they are, discovering that they can live after a bad relationship, after divorce, that becoming a single parent or a teenage mother was not the end of their life. They still can live from there. Those are the biggest highlights for me, because those are the things that show us as being successful as an organization. If we aren't reaching these women, if we aren't speaking to where they are, if we aren't helping them to see life differently, helping them to realize that they can get from where they are to where they desire to be, then what are we doing? So
besides sort of different this year for IMC. What other goals you have for this year?
Personally, as you know, I am the author of Right to Freedom, which is a guided journal for women as well. And I am releasing or launching a masterclass really soon that will be a fast track to freedom. It's a journey that will help establish or set someone up to be able to do the 90-day journey that the guided journal talks about. So I am doing that. I'm working on the finishing touches of that. I Am She will be hosting a series of empowerment events. We took off last year as we were going through slightly our transition with our board and everything like that. But we're working on an event for February, which will be a virtual free event, and it will be single by design. And so we will have some guests who are widows, divorced, and I'm saying single by design because sometimes you didn't choose to be single. Sometimes circumstances
cause you to be single.
Right. And so now the transition piece of this is how do I live after? How do I navigate life?
How to transition.
Yes.
How to move forward after that circumstance that was not your causing, but because other people.
It's life.
Right. How do you react to it? You know, instead of being down. What steps you need to take to move forward so you can be
absolutely
okay,
and especially when you have children. So how do I now go from being with a partner to a single parent when I have had someone to carry this burden with me?
Right.
What does my life look like, and how is it possible? Can you show us how to do that? So I'm excited about what we're doing. We're doing a lot of things. We got some things in the works, and so. I'm excited. I'm excited about what's happening in my life. I'm excited about the changes that are happening for I Am She. I'm just excited about being able to help people. And one of the things that I did mention about I Am She, we do what we call mobile transition services.
Okay.
So one of our main goals, and you'll see this coming up soon, is that we are trying to get property so that we can open up an official transition home for women who need temporary residency. But we're not there yet. What we do now is we offer some financial support if someone needs help with moving expenses, if someone needs furniture, or they need pots, or if they need anything that they may need to help them with this transition. We do that. We step in and we help them with that. So when people see I'm wearing one of our shirts, we've been selling these shirts. We did a soft launch maybe a few months before we had our official launch. This has been one of the top things that has carried us financially. So when you see the products and things that we sell, these are the things that give us the funds that we need to help us support women, because we support women in every area.
That's right. Okay. So I mentioned you're an author, so you wrote a journal. So what made you decide to become an author or write a book?
So the Right to Freedom Guided Journal was my first attempt at using my coaching voice in a written form.
Okay.
I am a transformational coach, midwife, and this is all part of my identity in Christ and who God has called me to be and how He has called me to minister to women. And so part of the journal was just me using my coaching voice to help somebody physically walk through transition as if I was with them. And so when you get this journal in your hand, it is specifically going to guide you through things. It has a part in there that talks about transition. It talks you through transition. What is transition? What does transition look like? How does it show up in your life? Then we go from that to talking about roadblocks. What are some of the things that you experience that may stop you from getting to where you are, to where you see yourself? How do you identify what these roadblocks are, and what do you do? And then we strategically help you with vision, planning, and goal setting, because you can't be blind going, moving. You have to have a plan. You have to physically, and that doesn't mean that things aren't going to come up. That doesn't mean that you might have to restructure or, go back and try to redo or go another route. It doesn't mean that. But when you start off with a plan, most times have better success at transition when we know where we are, when we know where we have been, and we know where we're going. We have to have clarity. So the journal is just that it gives you clarity. It's for people who, even people that have not had a desire to journal in the past, it gives you prompts. It prompts you on how to even begin journaling. And so it teaches you how to speak affirmations to yourself as you're going through transition. So again, the journal was just me using my coaching voice and putting it in written form.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. We got a few more questions, and then we go from there. So you do a lot. You're an entrepreneur. You're a mom. You're a hard worker. You're a leader. What does Nikita do for self-care?
For self-care, I do not disturb on my phone, for one.
Okay.
So it's about creating boundaries.
Okay.
I am learning to, and I have not always been good at this. I am a nurturer by nature. So I'm always concerned about other people.
Right.
And so one of the biggest things that I had to do was create boundaries. I didn't have any. So when somebody needed me, no matter what I was, if I was resting, I would do what was needed. So I'm learning to pay attention to my body. I'm learning to use no, because no is not a bad word.
Right, exactly.
Okay? And I'm learning to prioritize myself. So, again, if I'm not feeling, the best, because none of us are always feeling our best, I'm learning to change the way I take care of myself in terms of my eating and even my exercise. One of the things that I miss about Blue Cross is we had a gym in the building. So I could go to the gym on lunch.
Right there.
Right there. Since I haven't been working, it's more of an effort on my part. So I'm also, my self-care is teaching me how to be disciplined, right? And so, and the other thing I do is I read. Reading, journaling is very relaxing for me. It allows me to debrief, my days, what I'm feeling. And obviously I do the self-care things that are like, cosmetic. That goes without saying. But those don't do anything for your heart. And so or your soul or your physical body. So my self-care involves prayer and meditation. It involves me spending time with God. And it involves me, like I said, creating the boundaries that I need for my life. Using the word no when I need to use the word no. And making myself a priority.
That's all of the day. We gotta make ourselves a priority and take care of ourselves.
Can't pour from an empty glass.
Right. You don't take care of yourself, you're not good for anyone.
Listen, what do they tell you when you're on a flight? When the flight is going through some turbulence and they think it's not going to go well, they told you to save yourself first. They tell you to put your mask on first before you try to help someone else put on theirs.
Exactly.
And so that's what self-care really is about.
That's right. You have to take care of yourself, and learn to say no. It's okay to say no.
It's okay to say no. No is not a bad word.
You don't got to explain why.
And so let me I'm glad you said that. So last weekend, and I'm going to move on wherever you want to go, but I just wanted to share this quick story. And because, people think sometimes this is where we have to learn when to say no. Last Saturday, I had my day was set out. It was planned. I needed to do housework. I needed to do some entrepreneur work. I needed to do some stuff for church because I am a leader at my church. And I was cleaning my bathroom, and my mom calls about early in the morning, and she says, "Are you going to Sam's today?" And I said no, because I had already had my day scheduled. I wasn't leaving the house. I knew exactly what I needed to take care of. And she said, "Do you want to go to Sam's?" And I said, "No." And we're casually having this conversation. And the next question was, "Well, do you want to take me to Sam's?" And I said, "No." And so she was like, "Well," and I said, "Well, I have an appointment at 10. And I said, "I'm already going to be down that way and back, and I'm going through this whole thing." But I gave in. I felt guilty about saying no. So immediately I go to restructuring while I'm talking to her to figure out how I can take her where she wants to go, although my day was set.
Right.
I hung up with her and I went back to start cleaning my bathroom, and I felt the guilt of my changing my mind to accommodate her. And so I'm working through it in my head, and I said, "You know what? No, I can't. I need to be here doing what I need to get done, because if I don't, I'm not going to do what I need to do, because this is where I say you have to pay attention to yourself, Because if I was out running errands, I'm not going to come back in the afternoon, late evening, and then try to get on the computer and complete the work that I needed to do so that I could be ready for the week to come, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so immediately I text her as I'm on my way to an appointment, and I said, I'm not going to be able to take you today, but I will. But here's the thing. I started texting the reason why I could not take her today. And as I'm texting and giving an explanation, I heard something said, no, stop.
Mm-hmm.
I deleted and backtracked.
Right.
And I said, I'm not going to be able to take you today, but I will take you tomorrow after church. And what that did was, you're setting a standard and an if I give an explanation, there's an expectation that I'm always going to say why I had to say no. Mm-hmm. And it should not be warranted. And this is where we have to learn how to create the boundaries that we need for our own lives.
That's right. You have to. You have to set boundaries for yourself.
And people think, oh, it's your mom. You should have been able to. But no, I'm still going to care for her. I'm still going to do what she needs me to do. But I had to be willing to create this boundary, because here's what would have happened. I had an opportunity to create some content that I did not know that I was going to get to create. And had I been out with her running errands, I would have missed it. I would have missed it. Mm-hmm. So we have to learn how to pay attention and be where we need to be when we're supposed to be there, and not let people make us torn.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so this is why it's important that we create these boundaries regardless of who it is.
That's right. That's right. So, what advice would you give to younger Nikita?
Oh my God, I have asked myself this question. The main thing that I would say to her is that you are enough.
That's right.
That would be the first thing. The second thing I would say to her is to pursue every dream. There were dreams that I had that someone else talked me out of. And I would tell her not to allow anyone else to talk you out of your dreams. Because now here I am, almost 50. Those dreams have not left.
Right.
But time has been wasted.
Time. Mm-hmm.
And although I'm going back to them now, how much farther could I have been in life had I not allowed someone else to talk me out of what I know was inside of me, what I know I was passionate about, what I know that I wanted to do. So those would be the main things.
Wonderful. Well, last question is where people can find more information about you, I Am She, and your book.
So let me say this, my website, I'll start with my website because that's easiest for me to remember. My website is www.iamshenikita.org. And so there you can find me. You can find information about what we do as an organization. You can find out subscribe to be part of the movement. Please, 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 please join the movement. Follow us and join the movement. We are not just an organization, but we are a movement. And so I invite you and I encourage you to join the movement. On that website, you also have the opportunity to purchase any of the I Am She paraphernalia, but the Right to Freedom Guided Journal is also available on the website. It is also available on Amazon, so I'm excited that it's easily accessible. So wherever it is that you want to get it, if you don't want to come to us directly, it is on Amazon. And I am on all social media platforms, every last one of them. My personal one is on Instagram is I Am Nikita Y. And if you go to I Am Nikita Y, you'll obviously find ways. There is a link in my bio to get you to my Facebook. There's a link in my bio that gets you right to my website. There's a link in the bio for you to purchase a journal. And there's also a link to the I Am She social media platforms. And so that's how you get in touch with us.
I'm going to ask you one more question on the answer. You was part of August Cafe 42. What was November? What was that experience like?
So Author Cafe was an amazing experience for me. It was my first time anywhere. So you got the exclusive. It was my first time anywhere talking about Right to Freedom. And so it really was an amazing opportunity for me. It was an amazing feeling. I love networking for one.
Okay.
I love networking. I love the opportunity to meet people. I love to see what other people are doing, other authors, other creators. I'm a bookworm. I have a love for book. If my house caught on fire, I would probably go up in smokes because that's how many books I have. And so the author cafe was amazing. And not only that, it connected me with someone that I had lost contact with. The other author that was one of the other authors that was there, I hadn't seen her. We were part of a level up group together some time ago. And we do a lot of similar things. I had not seen her. And so that was good. And then I got to meet new people, right? And now I'm following one of the other gentlemen that's, was the gentleman that was there, following all the good things that he's doing, able to connect. So the Authors Cafe was amazing. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was an extreme blessing.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the words, because our first August Cafe is going to be in March. So March 2024.
Very good.
And so we'll be getting close to August Cafe 50 next year, Lord willing. So that's going to be our biggest event ever. So,
wow.
So like I said, we just trusting God in this process and trying to do what He says. Doing what He says, and not worried about how people want to do it, but asking God how to do this and make it better, elevate, and grow. And
that's it. So when you do it His way, if there's no failure in Him, it's going to work out. So all I will tell you to do is drive and go forward.
Exactly. Amen. So Nikita, it's been an honor and pleasure for you to be a guest on my show. I appreciate your story, appreciate your journey. And when does the masterclass expect to start?
So I plan to launch it in the first quarter. I'm just putting the finishing touches on it.
Okay.
And it will be available. It will also be on the website. And if you join the movement, you'll get it. You'll know firsthand when it will be available for you to sign up. There will be an investment tied to the masterclass. And that's only because it's not about necessarily making money. But what I've learned about people is that they put more into what they have invested in.
Right.
Sometimes when you attend some things for free, you don't consider the value as much. And so we want to make sure that what we're offering people and what we're doing and how we're supporting them is something that they want to be involved in.
Okay.
We want a commitment, right? And so, if you join the movement, you'll be on our email subscribe list. If you follow us on social media, you'll get the news quickly, but it should be launched before the end of this first quarter.
All right, wonderful. So once we find out the information, I'll definitely spread the word out.
Thank you.
On this platform as well, so all social media platforms as well. That's something we didn't do last year. I've totally some of mine that promoting stuff, but we're definitely going to start doing that, promoting people's stuff that's going on our platforms, on our show, so people can know what other people are doing who have been guests on the show, what they've been doing, how to get involved, and how to support people like you and others in 2024. So, Ms. Nikita McKenzie, it's been an honor and pleasure to be part of Woman Trial to Experience show. I thank you for your story, thank you for your journey, thank you for what God has gotten using you in this journey, in this season, and I appreciate you, so thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and I'll just say this. The name of the podcast says it all. It has everything to do with transition, and it has everything to do with transformation.
Yes.
So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you, Joanne. We back shortly. Thank you so much.
Well, it was painless.
Yeah.